Rain, relentless, cold. It washes over the city, a grim symphony against the backdrop of flickering streetlights. A lone figure walks, face obscured by the shadows. Their world is a tapestry of distorted desires, of power and control. The air is thick with unspoken dread, a premonition of the horror to unfold. This is the world of the serial killer. We are drawn to the darkness, fascinated by the abyss that exists within the human psyche. What drives some individuals to commit acts of unspeakable cruelty, to prey on their fellow human beings with a chilling detachment? It's a question that haunts us, a morbid curiosity that compels us to understand the minds of monsters. Serial killers occupy a unique space in our collective consciousness. They are the boogeymen of our nightmares, the embodiment of our deepest fears. Their stories, often sensationalized and dramatized, weave their way into our culture, leaving an indelible mark on our psyches. But beyond the headlines and the horror, there lies a complex and disturbing reality. To truly understand the psychology of serial killers is to embark on a journey into the darkest recesses of the human mind, to confront the uncomfortable truth that such evil can exist within our midst. Not all killers are created equal. The term serial killer conjures specific images: the methodical planning, the cooling off periods, the escalating brutality. They are set apart by their pathology, their compulsion to kill again and again. Jack the Ripper, shrouded in Victorian London's fog, remains a chilling enigma, his reign of terror forever etched in history. Ted Bundy, with his charming facade and cold-blooded brutality, shattered the illusion of normalcy, proving that monsters can hide in plain sight. The FBI defines serial murder as the unlawful killing of two or more victims by the same offender or offenders in separate events. This separation of events, the cooling-off period, distinguishes serial killers from mass murderers or spree killers. It speaks to a chilling premeditation, a calculated darkness that sets them apart. These individuals defy easy categorization. They come from all walks of life, all backgrounds, yet they are united by their capacity for unspeakable cruelty, their absolute disregard for human life. What transforms an individual into a predator, a hunter of their own kind? Is it a matter of nature or nurture? The answer, like most things in life, is complex, a tangled web of genetics, upbringing, and life experiences.
Some experts point to biological factors, abnormalities in brain structure or function, particularly in areas associated with empathy, impulse control, and emotional regulation. Others highlight the role of childhood trauma, abuse, and neglect, suggesting that these early experiences can leave lasting scars on the developing psyche. The McDonald triad, a controversial theory, proposes a link between childhood enuresis, fire setting, and cruelty to animals as potential indicators of future violence. While not a foolproof predictor, it highlights the potential for early behavioral signs to manifest as deeply ingrained patterns of aggression and disregard for others.
The truth, however, is rarely clear-cut. It's often a combination of factors, a perfect storm of genetic predisposition, and environmental triggers that converge to create the perfect monster.
Section 4. Deadly pattern signatures etched in blood. Serial killers, despite their seeming randomness, often exhibit patterns in their crimes. These patterns, known as their signatures, offer a glimpse into their psyche, their motivations, and their darkest fantasies.
Ted Bundy often targeted young women with long dark hair parted in the middle, reflecting his obsession with his ex-fiancée who fit that description. Jeffrey Dahmer's gruesome rituals of cannibalism and necrophilia were driven by a twisted desire for control and possession, even in death.
John Wayne Gacy, the killer clown, lured young boys and men to his home, promising them work or money, only to torture and murder them. His case highlights the danger of the nice guy facade, the manipulative charm that some predators use to disarm their victims.
By analyzing these patterns, investigators can develop profiles, predict future behavior, and ultimately bring these killers to justice. However, the hunt is often a race against time, a desperate scramble to decipher the killer's motives before they strike again.
Section 5. Nature's blueprint or nurture's neglect. The eternal debate. The age-old question of nature versus nurture takes on a particularly chilling dimension when discussing serial killers. Were they born with the seeds of darkness within them? Or were they molded into monsters by the cruel hand of fate?
Proponents of the nature argument point to studies that suggest a genetic predisposition to aggression and violence. They highlight the role of brain chemistry, hormonal imbalances, and potential genetic markers that might contribute to a higher risk of violent behavior.
On the other hand, those who favor the nurture argument emphasize the impact of childhood trauma, abuse, and neglect on the developing brain. They argue that these early experiences can create a breeding ground for rage, resentment, and a profound lack of empathy, ultimately shaping an individual's capacity for violence.
The reality is likely a complex interplay of both. While genetics might lay the groundwork, environmental factors, particularly those experienced in childhood, can act as triggers, igniting the fuse that leads to violence.
Section 6. The macabre spectacle, our obsession with evil. Paradoxically, while we fear and revile serial killers, we are also strangely drawn to them. True crime documentaries, podcasts, and books have exploded in popularity, feeding our insatiable appetite for the macabre. But why are we so fascinated by the darkest corners of human nature?
Perhaps it's the thrill of the unknown, the adrenaline rush of peering into the abyss without actually confronting the darkness ourselves. Maybe it's a morbid curiosity, a desire to understand what drives others to commit such horrific acts, to reassure ourselves that we are somehow different.
Or perhaps it's the human need to impose order on chaos, to find meaning in the senseless. By studying these cases, analyzing the motives and the patterns, we attempt to make sense of the unimaginable, to believe that there's a reason behind the madness.
Whatever the reason, our fascination with serial killers speaks to a primal part of ourselves, a morbid curiosity that compels us to confront the darkness, even as we recoil from its chilling embrace. Section 7. Out of the shadows, lessons learned, and the fight ahead. The study of serial killers, while disturbing, is not without its merits. By understanding the motivations, the patterns, and the psychological underpinnings of their crimes, we gain valuable insights into the darker side of human nature. Advances in criminal profiling, forensic psychology, and DNA technology have revolutionized the way we investigate and apprehend these offenders. We are better equipped than ever before to identify, track, and bring them to justice. However, the fight is far from over. Early intervention, mental health awareness, and addressing systemic issues such as poverty, abuse, and lack of access to healthcare are crucial in preventing future tragedies. We must remain vigilant, not only in apprehending those who commit these heinous acts, but also in creating a society that fosters empathy, compassion, and understanding. By shining a light on the darkest corners of human nature, we can hope to build a safer, more humane world for all.